Welcome to our Thankful Thursdays. We are recording. This is our new format, and we have been doing this for a good year, and people have asked for different topics. And tonight's topic, we're carrying on from last week, where we talked a little bit about the mental and emotional idea of investment. It really starts with your focus. It starts with your mind. If you're watching the replay, if you are watching on YouTube from the replay, go ahead and post where you're watching from. We have people from Canada who've tuned in, from Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and of course the US, which is where I am from. So basically, we've shared a little bit in the group about retirement, and this breaks my heart. Like, my heart hurts right now. I have heard the statistics that 98% of people will be dead or dead broke by the age of 65, relying on their friends, family, or their government to help make ends meet. And it doesn't make ends meet. Social Security in America is not going to make ends meet. The OAS, which is the Canadian version of Social Security, as I just found out, is horribly not going to make ends meet. Let's talk about a few. So if you're watching this, and if you are already stuck and you're retired and you're on a limited budget, join the free group. There are lots of tips to help get you moving along. If you're not retired yet, then you are in a good position to get ready. And for me, I am 56 years old. I really was a stay-at-home mom. I tutored in the community to earn a little extra income, but it was really just a subsidy to pay for the books because I was also a homeschooling mom. So we're on one income. My husband's getting ready to retire. And if it was not for what I learned at First Steps to Success, what I learned from War on Debt, we wouldn't be able to retire. We would not be able to. I mean, a one income family, it was really tough. Here are some things that people are relying on. Again, Social Security, the government, it's not going to take care of you. Some people are relying on a pension, but those pensions are being outdated. They're being phased out. Not a whole lot of people are getting a pension. It's from a different era. If you are getting a pension, as I just found out from somebody in the group, it's really not looking much better than the Social Security options or the government options. All right, what about 401ks? All right, so we talked a little bit about Social Security. Let's talk about 401ks. People use them as a retirement account. And here's the myth that I need you to know. People think, oh, if I have a 401k, it's like a pension, I'm going to be taken care of. Please, please, please hear me. It was never intended to be a substitute for a pension. The man who invented 401ks never intended it to be the sole thing that you relied on for your retirement years. He also never intended it to be the sole thing that you're going to rely on while you add on Social Security or while you add on the government pension. So that is the scary reality. It was designed as a supplement. You don't want all your eggs in one basket. Don't rely on the government. Don't rely on the 401k. But use them. You know, if you have them, use them. If you have the opportunity for matching funds and you're young, go ahead and use it. But you need to put more eggs in your basket. Let's talk a little bit about real estate. We have several people who are real estate professionals in this group. And there's definitely a difference between being a real estate professional and being licensed and making an income that way. It's your full-time job. But you don't have to have a license to rent out a room in your house. You don't have to have a license to potentially buy more property and create some sort of cash flow. You don't need a license for that. However, you're definitely going to want to find a licensed professional to guide you through the legalities of that. The bottom line is we need to start teaching our youth how to be financially free. Now, this right here, if you're watching this, this is an advanced class right now. These are advanced concepts. I really want you all, especially if you're new to the group, to look back on how we talked about getting out of debt, how we talked about mindset, how we talked about rethinking the purpose of money. There's so much in there. This is sort of like the cherry on the top after about a year's worth of pouring into you, but we can still glean some stuff from it. Before I talk about stocks, you can raise your hand or put it in the chat. Have any of you heard of the rule of 72? Yes. Okay. So one person's heard. Gloria, I don't think you're saying no. The rule of 72, you can look it up if you're taking notes. Write down the rule of 72. Somebody else can explain it far better than I can, but it is a mathematical equation that determines how long it takes for your money to double. So if you put $100 in some sort of stock or bond or government bond that was giving you 5%, you plug it into this formula and it will tell you how long it takes for your money to double. This is something that you want to look at, you want to study, you want to understand, because we want our money to grow. And we want our money to grow even if we're still in debt. If we're still in debt, we still need to give, we still need to pay ourselves. So we can look at those things and figure out how to get more cash flow. Now, here is the reverse side. And again, I was just talking with someone in our group, and I think all of us recognize that our money doesn't go as far as it used to. If we're older, if we're in our 50s like I am, we can look back and say, yeah, I don't remember eggs ever being $6. I remember when they were $3. I remember when they were $2. Prices are doubling. So if prices are doubling, is our money doubling? Can our money double? It can, but it takes some strategy. Now, I just want to say right now, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a licensed fiduciary. I am not telling you to go buy XYZ stock. I'm not telling you to give up your 401k. Don't give up your 401k. I'm not telling you that. I'm just sharing my experience in this particular arena. And I want you to go and do the work for yourself. Here and again, man, it is challenging to catch up when you're in your 50s. I did not start investing and looking for cash flow until I was in my 50s. So it's not too late. It's not too late if you're in your 50s. It's not too late if you're in your 60s. It's not too late in your 70s. It's only too late when you're dead. So as long as you're alive, we can still do something to have a brighter financial future. All right, so I was a homeschool tutor in the community. I taught economics. I mean, we played games, we played the little stock exchange games, we learned about compounding. But you know what we didn't do? We didn't actually apply the knowledge. Knowing comes from knowledge, and knowledge comes from experience. Otherwise, it's just information. All right, so again, I always give an action plan in our little things here. You guys are gonna have to do a little research for yourself on this. And Kim, again, I'm so glad that you're here. This is, again, is not something that I have touched for, for the whole past year, because it can be kind of tricky. I'm just going to share what happened. There was a point that I said to myself, and again, from receiving coaching, what am I doing with knowledge if I'm not applying it? I was really afraid to invest in the stock market. Why? Because I didn't know it. I didn't experience it. And I finally put $100 in. And then I started ramping up until it eventually became 1,000. And that journey from $100 to 1,000, I learned a lot, and it gave me the confidence, and it gave me the understanding. And the only way that you're going to receive that understanding is by trying something new yourself. And I highly recommend, and I've been recommending this for years without giving anybody instruction. That is one of the few ways that you're going to outpace inflation, is to start studying a little bit about the stock market. So I'm going to explain what I did with my son. We talked about compounding, and we talked about dividends. When you buy a stock that gives a dividend and you put it on DRIP, dividend reinvestment program, you're basically becoming like a part owner of that company, and you're receiving a paycheck. All right, you're not really receiving a paycheck, but you've invested in the company and you get money back. Instead of having them, put the check, put the money in your bank account, you're going to say, hold on, keep the money, and just buy more of the same stock. That is a cash flow. It's how you make money in your sleep. And it starts out small. My son right now, I'd have to look at his numbers. Eventually he got up to where he's making $30 a month in stocks, and it automatically buys more stocks. This is really going to help him a lot more than me, because he has a lot more time to be alive. And I'm really all about legacy. Kim, I don't know if you have children. Gloria, I know you have children, but this is the legacy I want to leave. My son just turned 20. And I figured out, if he stopped even investing in any more money, and he lets it ride for the next 40 years, when he is 50 years old, he's going to be getting a nice little paycheck every month. When he gets to be 50 years old, if he wants to retire, he can say, you know what, stop buying the extra stock and start sending me the check. Why did nobody teach us that? All right. Now, it's not too late to do this. I started in 2020, and it's 2023, and I'm making about $100 a month in the stock market. And a lot of it is mainly just blue chip stocks. I'm not going for the crazy stuff, like, oh, buy this stock and you're going to be a millionaire in 3 months. Yeah, that's not what I'm doing. But you know, an extra $100 a month that I don't need to worry about. If I get sick, if my husband gets sick, that's gonna continue. And as we get older, you know, it's not the only egg in our basket, but as we get older, that might come in handy. All right, so let's talk about what stocks to purchase. Blue chip stocks, we're talking about reliable companies. You want a company that is paying a dividend. And I'm going to give you a few names here. There's something called dividend kings, dividend champions, right? There's various categories of dividends. You can look them up. These are the stocks that have paid dividends for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. If a stock has never failed to pay a dividend for 60 years, do you think they're going to pay a dividend this year? Probably. So you want to look for those stocks. And again, you can sometimes it changes. If somebody falls off the dividend champion list, they'll put a new one right back up there. So those are going to be reliable. They're going to be your workhorse in stocks. And they can change. Again, you're going to do your research on that. Let's just say, and I've been pleading with everybody in the group, open up a brokerage account. TD Ameritrade just got bought out by Charles Schwab. Those are the big names here in the US. If you're in a different country, if you're in Australia, Canada, South Africa, New Zealand, look up your brokerage accounts, ask somebody, what's the big brokerage account in my country? Open an account with $100. I want to ask you, if you put $100 into stocks and lost it, would you still be able to survive? Okay, so
Yes.
So that takes the fear. If I was like, oh my gosh, what if I lose my money? Well, I was like, $100. I'm still going to be able to eat and have a roof over my head if I lose $100. So I'll tell you what, I did not lose the $100, but that's going to give you some peace of mind. So if you're going to put $100 in the stock market and look for the blue chip stocks, look for the ones that you can automatically, there's a button or a checkbox that you can put when you open any brokerage account that says, any dividends, I want them automatically reinvested. So that way you don't even need to think about it. And a ratio that I like to recommend is 80-20 or 90-10. So let's split that in the middle. Put $85 into those blue chip stocks, and then take the 15 and put it in something that is a little more risky and a little more volatile. Because you could win big with a new company that's up and coming. I mean, imagine if you put $15 into Amazon when it first came out. Whew, that would be nice. You can do any ratio you want. So final thing, it really, I'm going to give you two more ideas with the stocks. One is look for something you're familiar with. If you chew gum, ever heard of Wrigley?
Yeah.
You know, so if you chew gum and you chew Wrigley, you might want to look and see if Wrigley is a publicly traded company and if they have a dividend and what percentage that dividend is. it really helps to keep it in your wheelhouse. My son, I think he bought Honda parts because he likes cars. There's another stock called GPC that has to genuine parts because he's into cars and all cars have parts. So he got some of that. I don't know anything about GPC. I'm not recommending that. I'm just letting you know the mindset and how he thought about it. So look for companies that are familiar to start out. And here's a final idea with stocks. It helps to see what the news is. For example, and again, I'm completely not saying anything good or bad about any political party. It's not the place for it. However, when the Biden administration was really pushing all of the electric vehicles, like that was the big thing, I noticed that the oil companies and the gasoline companies, their stock was dropping.
Oh.
Because, oh, electric cars. Now, I'm not an expert in these fields, but I know that electric cars, all the components on electrical cars, not every single one, but a vast majority of the components are made from petroleum products. So if they're pushing electrical cars, they're going to need tires. That's made from petroleum products. They're going to need the dashboards and the wheels and the various components inside a car that are made from petroleum products. There's no reason that a petroleum company is going to go out of business. As a matter of fact, they're going to get more business. Okay, so you see how you read the news and you tie the things together. So when the stocks dropped for those oil companies, that's when I bought. Buy low,
Yeah.
sell high, but I'm not selling. So, and then I noticed eventually the stocks went back up. There's always a cycle. So if you're investing, and if you are investing strategically, if you're investing to actually get a paycheck, you're not going to sell unless you think the company is going to go out of business. Then you want to get out. So in my experience, I don't buy low and sell high. I buy low, or I dollar cost average. I just buy consistently a little bit every month. I'm not worried about whether the stock market goes up or whether the stock market goes down. I don't care. I love when the stock market goes down because then I get to buy things on sale. Who doesn't like a sale? Like, okay, right, when things are on sale, we're women, okay? I think women are smarter than men, but in a different way, My husband is brilliant with things that I am clueless about, but we love our sales, don't we?
Yeah.
So when the stock market is down, there's a saying, there's blood in the streets. When there's blood in the streets, it's time to buy. It's on sale. So this is just a strategic overview of the stock market and what I'm doing and the results I'm getting. Just start. And I'm just asking you guys, start with an amount that you're comfortable losing. You're going to gain experience, and then you can teach your children. And look up the rule of 72, look up compounding interest. This is compounding. This is going to make it easier for our children to be financially free. If we're a little older, we're going to have to work a little harder, a little more strategically, but it's just one way. Now, the final thing that I'm going to say, when we get more advanced, if you want help with this as well, just put it on your list. Cryptocurrency. if you can put 20, 50, $100 in cryptocurrency. I started studying this several years ago. It's hard to get my mind wrapped around it, but here is what is setting off my bells. PayPal is using cryptocurrency. Credit cards are starting to use cryptocurrency. It's being placed into the marketplace in regular use. As a matter of fact, there's even a beach out of the country. I think it's in South America. It's called Bitcoin Beach. That's the only currency they use is cryptocurrency. So it's coming into the mainstream. And this is a really unique opportunity to, I don't think it's going away. If the credit card companies and PayPal and all of hedge funds are starting to try and figure out how to incorporate cryptocurrency into their mutual funds. So to me, that's kind of like a big sign, like I need to put at least $100 in there. If I lose it, I can sleep at night, but I mean, this could be the next big thing. It might not. I don't have a crystal ball, but if I see the hedge fund managers and the big banks starting to incorporate it, they're a lot smarter than I am. They're a lot richer than I am. That kind of gives me a little clue that I might want to study it a little more, find out how to enter into that. So this is our little investing in a nutshell. That's it. There's our class. We're done. There's been a call for the investments for a while, and if you guys have any questions before I close out, you are welcome to ask.
I have stocks.
Mm-hmm.
And how I have stocks, I bought the stocks when I was living in Jamaica. The stocks were offered to us by a bank, NCB Bank. And since I migrated, I started getting dividends. The only problem is that I get a check and I'm not there to sign the check. And sometimes when I do get the check, the date was already passed. That was the problem.
Are you saying that the check is no longer valid?
No, what I'm saying is that because I'm not in the country and I did not have my forwarding address, when the checks were sent, they were sent to my home address in Jamaica and not here. So by the time I collect the checks or somebody mailed them to me, the date had expired already. Anyway, I was able to get around that problem. But since COVID, I have not received anything. I spoke to somebody recently about it, and they said, think they're sort of holding back because they feel that something might happen. So I'm not sure who to talk to, but I did have the chance of having them send the money to me instead of it being there, but they would have to convert it. So right there now, I really don't know what's happening. I haven't
Could you
got
have that
any
direct deposit?
Yes, I have a bank account still there, but I did not, and I was advised to do a direct deposit, and I did not follow the instructions.
Gloria, do you need the money right now, or do you want to have it reinvested to buy more stocks, or and have it build up a little while longer before you start receiving checks?
Yes, because I never really use it. I would rather it go in my account or something like that. I don't know. The stocks were offered for sale some years back, so I don't think they're offering any more shares. The shares were split in two, so we got more shares put on top of that. So I don't think they're really selling anything right now. So it was two different stocks I bought, one in a bank and one in a hotel. The hotel, I never got back anything. I don't know what went wrong with that one. I never got back anything from that one.
Well, that's a good problem to have, that you actually have something that's paying you money. And you're definitely gonna need to do a little homework to track that down.
Yeah.
Definitely make sure that you have a beneficiary in place just to
Mhm.
make it easier, and
Mhm.
have
Yeah.
money help you a little bit.
Yes,
I
yes,
get
yes.
that.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Kim.
Yes.
Again, thank you for being this. I hope there was something helpful here. There's a number of people in the big group that have never invested in the stock market. And
I actually during COVID put $100 in a TD Ameritrade account. And I've watched it go all the way up to $300 or $400. And the last time I checked, it was down to 96, but you haven't lost anything till you cash out. So I've left it there to roll. So I do have a brokerage account that I can play with some. I also have a Merrill Lynch account. I've been in real estate since 2004, so I did very well, and then I did very badly, and now I'm back to doing better. So I did start an IRA several years ago. So I have managed to max that out on the catch-up plan, because if you're over 50, you can put more in. And I do have 2 pieces of real estate. So we refinanced our primary home when the rates dropped. I think in 2021 they went down to like 2.35, and we refinanced at that. So when we've recently moved, that house went into a rental program.
nice.
So that is what I'm kind of counting on as my retirement plan.
Mhm.
The plan with this house is to be here about 5 years and buy another and put this in a rental program. My husband is a disabled veteran, so we get to take advantage of his VA benefits. So you are allowed to have 2 VA loans. So that's what we've done. As long as there is room on your entitlement, you can do that. It's just, I want all the debt gone, all the extra debt, so that we could live off of the income off of rental property if we had to. Although I do take advantage of being able to sock some money away in an IRA and not paying tax on that amount, reducing the taxes.
Right. So that's a Roth IRA?
It's not. It's a regular.
Okay. That's either one.
I needed to not pay taxes on it
Yeah.
and put it in a regular. And I kind of feel like it's probably not going to hurt me to have to pay taxes on it when I take it out.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's a good strategy.
If I were younger, I would absolutely have it in a Roth. That's like the best savings account I think you can get.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my primary reason is to figure out ways to pay off the debt I have.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Mhm.
And we'll be working side by side for 8 weeks, and we're going to have some amazing victories in that.
Okay.
Every week we're going to be together, and I just really applaud you for your strategies. All your eggs are not in one basket.
No.
You have stock, you have an IRA, you have a plan, you're expanding the rental properties, and that's huge. And I understand a lot of debt is with that, and the numbers can be crushing.
They can be overwhelming.
But we're gonna eat away at those one step at a time.
Okay.
Let me ask you about your stocks, since you know we're a little focused on stocks. Is this your $100? Did you purchase something that had a dividend?
I did, and
Uh,
I rolled it. I kept it going that way. Even my IRA account has dividends and it rolls back in.
Okay.
What I did, like you said, something I'm in real estate, and so I bought Realogy because that is a big real estate brokerage holding company. And that's why it tripled in a year, is because, as everybody knows, the real estate market exploded. And then I haven't checked it lately. It may be back over $100, but I've just sat there and watched it, what it did. Would have probably been good if I had put more in, if I could have every month, but I didn't. I was just kind of playing with it.
Sure. Nice. Nice. Yeah. And that's the perfect way to start to play. And you want to go through, a couple of market cycles to get the feel for it. There's a whole psychology with the marketplace. It's not logical. It's all based on human emotion, with things going up or down. It's all on human emotion. Which is why it's a good idea. If you're emotional, and here's my final thing, and we'll close out because it's just over an hour on my clock here. The market is driven by emotion. So when people are excited, and when the stock is exciting, like, oh my gosh, we're going to ride it to the moon and get in now. No, that's the time to just say, let me know how that works out for you. And they probably won't be coming back to tell you how it worked out for them.
Right.
And when people are panicking and they're like, oh my gosh, sell, 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 that's the time to be like,
I think I'll buy.
There's a sale going on. I'm gonna, but yeah, that is a whole exciting thing that I am not professing to be an expert on. I am very much in the learning stage with that. But what I am an expert on is helping people get out of debt, which is a passion of mine, because I believe that God designed us to be free. We want to be free because that is our design. And we're going to go live how we were designed to be. We will get the freedom that we are called to be. So that's
what I want.
So thank you, ladies, for joining me tonight.
Thank you.
I will have this posted for everybody in the group. I'll be seeing you next week, Kim. And
okay, thank you.
a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining me.
All righty. Bye.
Good night.